Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars, and welcome to my second classic 1980s comedy film review. Last week I chose Arthur as my classic 80s film review comedy, one of my favourite comedies of all time, and this week I have chosen as my classic film review National Lampoon's Vacation, the classic 1983 comedy that was directed by the late great Harold Ramis and written by the legendary John Hughes, and stars of course Chevy Chase. We have Beverly D'Angelo, we've got John Candy, Christy Brinkley, Randy Quaid, Anthony Michael Hall. Great cast. Now I'm kind of contradicting myself a little bit here, because I did my top 10 favourite Chevy Chase films, I think it was last year, and even though this was on the list and was probably pretty high up on the list, and I've not rewatched it, I don't think it made it to my number one. However, I think at the time it might have been Fletch that got to my number one on that list, which is a great film. But as with many of my favourite actors and comedy films and things, when you rewatch them, you kind of swivel them about a bit. So I've rewatched this again because I've just bought the Vacation box set on Blu-ray, so I'm making my way through the Vacation films. I've rewatched this one again, and I've got to say, completely loved it. Hilarious throughout. And this film focuses on Chevy Chase's family, the Griswolds, and he decides they're going cross-country on vacation to Walley World. None of them really want to go, apart from Chevy Chase, Clark, and he's obsessed with having this perfect family holiday. However, right from the get-go, things go terribly wrong. Right from picking up their new car, it hasn't arrived, so he has to take home this piece of crap instead, station wagon, and everything literally goes wrong along the way on this trip, and it's absolutely brilliant to watch throughout. At the time, Chevy Chase was a big star, and this sent him really into the stratosphere in regards to comedy actors in the 80s. He was already a star. He'd done Caddyshack and Foul Play and a few others before he made this, and he was a Saturday Night Live regular and things. And this film really sent him over the edge in regards to star power, and he went on to make Fletch, and of course he made 3 other National Lampoon's Vacation films. He did European Vacation, the brilliant Christmas Vacation, which many regard as one of the best Christmas films of all time, and the Vegas Vacation, which is a lot of people's least favourites, and I agree it's the weakest of the bunch, but it is certainly very funny and very watchable. So each of the National Lampoon's Vacation films are funny in their own right. For me though, this is the classic, the original, and the best. What came with this as well, I'll show you again. Here we go. What came with this was a really good documentary that I'd not seen before, that I think was filmed in 2011, so reasonably recent, because they were interviewing Harold Ramis for the documentary. And that goes in depth about the film in regards to the casting process. It was really fascinating. They always kind of had Chevy Chase in mind. They went for Beverly D'Angelo as his wife, and the chemistry there was there immediately. She wasn't really interested in doing doing a comedy role. She wanted to be a serious actress, but they hit it off with the chemistry and things like that. And it was just a really brilliant documentary. And the idea was, Harold Ramis explains, that initially the story written by John Hughes it was told from the children's perspective, how they didn't want to be part of this and they didn't want to be going on this vacation. However, they focused rightly the film on Clark Griswold's, Chevy Chase's character's perspective, on his obsession with this perfect family holiday and his slow breakdown basically, which leads up to his breakdown when he gets to Walley World, when he realises, and spoiler if you haven't seen it, I don't worry too much about spoilers for films like as old as this. I'm sure you you know, if you haven't seen it by now, you should have done. When he gets to Walley World and it's actually closed for repairs and stuff, he absolutely loses the plot and takes John Candy hostage so that he can have a go on all the rides and things with his family. So it's like it's a slow burn in regards to his character development throughout it. He's, you know, massively enthusiastic at the beginning, and then by the end he's just completely lost the plot because everything's going completely wrong. It stands up wonderfully today. Still, it's still hilariously funny. It's so well written. The John Hughes films, in regards to his writings, the majority of them still stand up brilliantly today. And Harold Ramis directed this expertly. A lot of people forget his work as a director. He directed Caddyshack, he directed this, Groundhog Day. Very, very talented director, Harold Ramis, and more so than in front of the camera, even though he's more remembered for his part in Ghostbusters. So yeah, one of the 80s classics here, one of the best comedies of the 80s, but certainly of all time as well. Many people of a certain age remember this film fondly, and if you've never seen the National Lampoon Vacation films and you're not really sure what all the fuss is about in regards to Chevy Chase, he's made some complete stinkers over the years. However, films like this remind you of what a star he was at the time. Chevy Chase, he was the Will Ferrell of his time, if you like. He was a comedy superstar, and he played this part of Clark Griswold absolutely perfectly. Great chemistry with the family. It was always funny that each film he had different actors playing the kids, and never ever really looked anything like each other from film to film, which I thought was always quite funny. So yeah, I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. Timeless comedy classic, definitely worth a watch. And if you want to, you know, go out and pick up this box set, you can get it on DVD as well, very, very cheap, but the Blu-ray has the documentary on. Give it a go, buy it, watch the Vacation films. They did try and reboot it a couple of years ago. They did a Vacation film, and Chevy Chase did appear in it, but it was more based on his son Rusty taking his family across the country for vacation. But Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo did appear in it briefly. I actually didn't mind it too much, even though it got lambasted by critics when it was released. It was alright actually, but nothing special. So yeah, that's my second classic 80s comedy film review. Next week there will be a third one, and then following that I shall do my top 10 list of my favourite 80s comedy movies. So once again, thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I shall see you next time on Screen Stars.